Okay. I believe we are live. Buongiorno a tutti. Welcome everyone. Today is the 31st of December, the last day of the year, 2023. So we're going to be all in 2024 in a few hours. Welcome to the 40th episode of Learn Italian Live. Here at our Italian Mastery, we have done 40 episodes. It's amazing. So it's been almost a year of these sessions. I'm fully conscious that today many people will be busy doing other things, celebrating, not necessarily learning Italian, but I just wanted to give this one last session for the year, episode 40. We're going to tackle very simple, very useful words. And as always, we have the image prompt. So feel free to, if you're in the chat live, feel free to come up with an example or a question regarding the image that we see. Other than that, you know the rules of the game. We do this once a week. We're trying to learn and remember as many words and as many phrases, Italian phrases as possible. And if you have any doubts, you can always ask me questions. If you are watching this as a recording, you can send a message or a comment to the video. Brilliant. So, just to be sure, let me just change scene. There you go. So the image in full is this one, and we're going to use it to try and make sentences utilizing a few words that we're going to see in just a moment. Very simple words. Parole utili e facili. So easy words that you can use and reuse in many different situations, many different scenarios. Let me just show you. So these are the notes from last session. Last session was all about Christmas. So we have lots of examples and comments to do with that and words related to Christmas. So what can we see in the image? What can we see? And more importantly, how can we speak Italian without overthinking it? So let's mention a few things. Barca. This is a very simple, very common word. It means boat. So let's start building a vocab around the image we see. Then we have, what else do we see? We have, well, it looks like a lake. It could be the sea. So mare, the sea. Then we have buildings, but we can just make it, we can just use the word house, right? And there's no difference between house and home in Italian. We always use the word casa. So that's also easy, house. So we could just talk about these buildings, just saying houses. They look like houses. They look like apartments. I don't think they're office buildings, but I might be wrong. And then what else? Cielo, sky. Bene. Penso che questo sia un buon insieme di parole. So I think that this is a good set of words to start with and learn the words that I want to cover in this video. The words that I want to cover in this video are words such as vicino a. Vicino a, it's an important thing to remember simply because it's a word that we can use over and over again. Per esempio, so for example, c'è una barca vicino a delle case. So feel free to pause the video if you're watching this as a recording. Otherwise, if you're in chat, try and think what could be the possible translation of this sentence. Let me see if there's anyone. And yeah, there's some people. Unbelievable. This is, 31st of December. You guys should be celebrating, but you're here. Ciao a tutti. Ciao Amedeo. Dalla barca sul lago. Ciao Mark. Fiore, buona domenica a tutti. Let me select live chat. Ok. Della barca sul lago. Okay, let's take a look at this. Della barca sul lago is a great example. We're going to translate this. We're going to look into it shortly. C'è una barca vicino a delle case. There is. We've seen how c'è means there is. We've encountered this 100 times. And, 80% of the time we use the same 20% of vocab. This is true across languages. There's a certain set of very useful words and phrases that should become second nature. C'è. And this is, by the way, the reason why people go to a different country and all of a sudden learning that language becomes easy. It's not the magic of moving geographically to a certain destination. Maybe that's also a factor. But the main factor is obviously using the language and having exposure to the language. So c'è. C'è means there is. Ci sono, there are. These are very useful language constructs. There is what? Barca, that's probably feminine, and we have a feminine article just before it. There is a boat. Vicino a. Now this is the important part of this sentence today. Next to. Close to some houses or buildings, right? Delle, of, the, etc. No, sorry, in this case, delle is some, right? Some houses. I got confused because delle can also be an articular preposition, which is not in this case. So when we have some uncountable feminine word, such as flour, c'è tanta farina, nel mulino. There is a lot of flour. I don't think it's spelled like this. Somebody might correct me. I don't know how to spell. A lot of flour. Oh, it's flour. There you go. Flour in the mill. Sorry, what I wanted to say is c'è della. There is some. So as you can see, della here is some flour. flour is feminine, farina, but it's singular. If it's plural, delle case, some houses, then of course it ends in E. And we couldn't have della casa because casa is countable. So we would have una casa or delle case. Della doesn't exist in this context. Della, in fact, can only be an articulate preposition. For example, il cane della signora. So the dog, well, the lady's dog. The dog of the lady. The dog that belongs to the lady. Il cane della meaning of the. Di plus la, right? We have di la. Della. Right, just I got lost in this, just went off this tangent, but it's important. C'è una barca vicino a delle case. It's also important to notice that we often use a after vicino. Let's take a look at this, by the way. This is very interesting because we are just talking about articulate prepositions. So let's just end the parentheses with this example. I think that this means I'm looking at chat now. Kim, ciao a tutti, ciao a te. Flower, grazie, sì. Ci sono arrivato ma tardi. Okay, chat is on fire. There's another example. Okay, I wasn't expecting these examples on the 31st of December, but I'm gonna cover them. So first, let's look at this. This is from chat. Della barca sul lago. I believe that the author wanted to say delle barche sul lago. And this translates with some boats on the lake. And it's great. It's fantastic. Della barca, we've just seen how that couldn't be, right? Della barca. It could be una barca. Una barca sul lago. A boat on the lake. Or in the lake. But the point is a boat. Una or delle, some boats. So, indefinite, singular and plural for feminine words, right? So we've seen how this, how is this a mistake? C'è la farina nel mulino. No, that's fine. Una barca sul lago, delle barche sul lago. Fantastic. We have another example that's actually very good. Ci sono nuvole nel cielo. Absolutely perfect. This is great. And this is not using c'è, it's using ci sono. So there are a multitude of entities, objects, items. In this case, nuvole, which is also feminine. Nuvola, it is a useful word. Nuvola, if I can spell. Cloud. Ci sono nuvole nel cielo. There are clouds in the sky. Nel is again an articulate preposition. In plus il. Nel cielo. And you don't have to think about it in terms of in plus il. I like to break things down and so that people can understand. But if you are used to it, then just forget it. Meaning, if you learn words or phrases off the top of your head and they sound natural after a certain amount of time, then there's no point in going back and trying to understand where things come from. But it's useful to know. It's useful to hear it at least once. There's no harm in learning these things. In plus il. Ci sono nuvole nel cielo. Fantastic. Okay. And as you can hear, there's also an airplane in the sky now. Brilliant. Okay, so we've had a look at a few examples. Vicino a is a great tool to have in your toolkit for when you speak Italian. Let's think about what the opposite would be. And by the way, feel free to leave a thumbs up to this video if you enjoy it so far. But what's the opposite of close to? It's far from, right? Far from something, if two things are far from each other. So we can say le barche sono lontano o lontane dalla città. Dalla città, dal centro della città. So here we have the same word that we had before, the boats. Why do we use le instead of delle? Because we've already mentioned them, right? There is an image, we're talking about it, we're talking about these things. So the boats. Sono lontane. So they are far, lontane, dal centro, from the center of the city, or from the city center. Della, di plus la. Dal, da plus il. Dal centro, from the center of the city. And then we use the articulate prepositions. The boats are far from the city center. Le barche sono lontane. Remember that far, being far, just like in English, it's an adjective, right? So I am far from you. I am close to you. These are adjectives. So when used in this particular way, they change based on gender and plurality. Sono vicino a te. I am close to you. Siamo vicini a te. We are close to you. Vicini. You see? This is changing. And this is the same, basically. Siamo lontani. And if you say this without specifying anything, it just means we are far from each other. We are far, meaning we are far from each other. Again, it depends on the context. So, vicino a, this is a useful word. And then lontano da, far from. Does anybody have any question at this point? Diana, buongiorno, buongiorno a tutti. Bene, bene, bene. Sono contento che vi siano un po' di persone anche durante la vigilia di Capodanno. So I'm very happy about the turnout today, given that it's New Year's Eve. We've gone for about 20 minutes. We've covered 2 useful sentences, phrases, words to do with vicinity and being far or close. I think I don't have anything more to say. I am going to leave you with an announcement. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat now. I'm going to answer them. The announcement is the fact that until the very end of January, so tomorrow is going to be the 1st of January, until the end of January, for the whole month of January, we're going to keep the monthly discount for the university at 50%, which is crazy. And anyone who is interested, you do what the people have done already, which is message me, send an email to our email is info@italianmastery.com. Visit our website, and you will find a way to contact me. If you don't contact anybody, you don't use any codes, then you're going to be paying full price. So don't do that. And I have the sneaky suspicion that there's going to be some questions regarding what we've done today. So do you guys, is everything clear about how to use these phrases? Essere vicino, essere lontano. These are very useful, not just for real life, but even for describing things. So homework and things like that. Vicino, lontano. And of course, these words being adjectives can also go with adverbs. So for example, we can say molto vicino. This means very close. Il cane è molto vicino al tavolo. The dog is very close to the table. And the word to look at is molto, because it's a word that is putting more emphasis onto the adjective vicino. The same exact thing we can do for lontano. Lontano. It would be lontano dal tavolo. The dog is very far from the table. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I was thinking about the opposite. What if something is not very close? You wouldn't say it's little close. You would say it's not very close. So you can say, for example, we want to describe the fact that the dog is not very close to the table. Then we can literally just say, il cane non è molto vicino al tavolo. Is not very close to the table. There you go. So now you have all the variations and you can go crazy. Make sure to practice. Practice is key. Understanding something is okay, but information becomes knowledge only when we practice and internalize these things. So practice, even if it's 5 minutes a day for a week. Make sure that you expand your vocab with easy and useful words first as a foundation. Bene, bene, bene. Ok, direi che abbiamo finito. Sono entrata tardi e ho già imparato qualcosa di nuovo. Bene, bene, sono contento. Bella cosa. Molto bene. I'm very happy. Well done, everybody. Well done for turning up. Well done for commenting and being active in the chat. I wish you a great new year, a great new week, but a great new year, 2024. Make it the year of mastering Italian. Study, practice, and I will see you at some point on YouTube next year. Ciao a tutti, buon anno, buona domenica e buona settimana, buon mese, buon tutto. Ci vediamo presto. Studiate l'italiano. Ciao a tutti, ciao 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 ciao.